Hi, hey, hello. Today we are gonna go over my mobility routine. I have been doing this routine probably for the last 8 months or so. It's really helped me improve my flexibility, and I do it maybe 2 to 3 times a week. Typically it'll be after my workout whenever I have the time available. So sometimes it is first thing in the morning, sometimes it's right before bed, whenever you can squeeze this in. So without further ado, let's get started. So I typically like to start on the edge of my yoga mat and just focus on coming down into a pike position. You guys can follow along if you would like, or you can watch this later when you're ready to do it. So yeah, typically I just like warming up by getting down into a pike position like this. Then I'll come down into a squat, bringing my hands forward, and then extending my knees, coming back. And then just trying to get deeper each time I go through the motion. So I'll do it maybe 3 to 5 times, but now I'm just really driving my elbows into my knees, slowly trying to open up my hips. I'll hold it for maybe 2 to 5 breaths, come back, trying to get my palms flat on the ground. If that feels too easy, you want to feel a nice stretch in your hamstrings right there. If that feels too easy, you can start bringing your hands back, maybe grabbing the back of your feet and tucking your head in between your legs. And then when we come down now, this time, again, opening up my hips, but I'm going to bring my arm all the way up on each side. And it's looking way more vertical. I remember the first time when I did that, I couldn't even get my hand up like that. Like if you guys see from the front right here, you know, my hand's nice, my arm, sorry, I should say, is nice and vertical. But before it was like, maybe like that. And that's okay. Go within your active range of motion. Don't force it. Like I said, I've been doing this routine for a good 8 months now, and my flexibility really has improved quite tremendously, but it wasn't always like that. So again, working with your active range of motion. So maybe about 3 reps there. And then come walk forward, keep my core tight and come into a plank position. And then I'm going to bring my left leg forward, just coming down into a lunge. Then we're going to extend as much as you can, and you should feel a nice stretch in your hamstring here, as well as the back of your right calf. If you can't get your heel all the way on the ground, that's totally okay. So again, just work within your active range of motion. Come back down into a lunge position. We're going to do that one more time. Come all the way back. And then this time when we come down, we're going to drop our knee, point our back toe, and we're just going to continue to lunge here. You should feel a nice stretch in both of your hips. If that feels too easy, you can bring your foot forward a little bit and bring this arm on the inside and bring your elbows down. And that'll really deepen the stretch there. So we're going to hold for about 5 breaths. We're going to come back up, and we're going to lean back and really just flex our foot. You're going to feel a nice stretch in the back calf here as well, again in the hamstrings. Then we're going to come back, lean forward, bring our elbows down, a couple of breaths, bring ourselves back up, lean back, and really just feel that stretch in our calf as well as our hamstring here. One more time. Really just focus on your breath. So many people are always like stressed out about, should I hold it for 10 seconds, 30 seconds, 60 seconds? And yes, of course, there are certain situations where paying attention to the timing matters if you're trying to optimize the timeline of your flexibility. But sometimes it's just nice not to track something, right? We all track everything when it comes to our budget, our food, our workouts. For me personally, stretching is more so just to relax, and the increased flexibility that comes with it is a byproduct. So we're gonna bring our feet together, just get a nice another additional stretch here in the pike position, and then we're gonna switch legs. So we're gonna bring our left leg back, and lunge forward, hold for a few seconds. Again, 2 to 5 deep breaths. Then we're going to extend our front knee and try to get our back heel of our left leg on the ground. Okay, we're going to come back down, back into a lunge position. And again, each time we're just trying to get a little bit deeper, not forcing it. Your body will naturally get a little bit deeper as it starts to get used to the movements, gets used to the stretches. Okay, and now again, we're gonna drop that back knee, point that back left foot, and we're going to sit back, flex our foot, really feel a nice stretch in our right calf and our right hamstring. Hold for 2 to 5 breaths. Okay, and then we're gonna come forward again. Again, if we want to increase the difficulty of this stretch, just actually feel it a little bit more, you can bring our elbows on the inside and drop them down onto the ground. Hold for a couple of breaths. Come back up. Extend your knee. Flex your foot. Feel a nice stretch in there. A couple of breaths here. All right, one more time. Let's lunge forward. Bring our right arm on the inside. Drop our elbows onto the mat if you can. And bring ourselves back up. Now we're gonna bring our back leg up off the ground and bring our feet together. One final stretch here, down in the pike position. And then now we're going to keep our feet relatively close together, and we are going to bend our knees, bend our hips, slowly bring ourselves forward, come down into a squat, and slowly and controlled bring your butt on to the mat. All right, now we're just gonna do a little bit of some static stretches here, okay? So we're gonna bring our feet together, and this is the butterfly pose. So with the butterfly pose, again, just work within your active range of motion. I typically try to scooch my butt up if I can while trying to bring my knees down to the ground. And then if you can try leaning forward if it feels comfortable. Some people, they just are good sitting upright like this. That's okay. Don't force it. Again, within your active range. Hold that there for a couple more breaths. And then we're going to extend our legs forward and keep our toes nice and flexed. If you point your toes, that's okay, but you don't really get much of a stretch in your calves. And a lot of people have really tight calves, myself included. So keeping our feet nice and upward and nice and flexed, and we're going to hinge at the hips, and we're gonna come forward as much as we can, and we're gonna extend our arms and grab our feet. If you have to work with if this is your active range right here, that's okay. Again, just with each breath, try to get a little bit deeper. If you find that grabbing your feet and bringing your head to your knees doesn't feel challenging enough, you'll notice over here I have some yoga blocks and a foam roller. Take one yoga block, put it behind your feet, and pull yourself in. And that should help make it more difficult. If you want to add a second yoga block, you're feeling very eager, you can go for it. All right, couple more breaths here. And then I'm going to pull myself down and we're going to relax and get rid of the yoga block. Now we're going to bring one foot in, keep one foot extended. So I have my left foot in and it's just below my knee, okay? It's not right at my knee joint. So just below my knee, or above my knee, I should say. We're going to keep our foot nice and flexed again. We're going to grab it. And again, we always want to try, like don't just like forcefully try to grab yourself. Always try to hinge first at the hips. Slowly go down. And then use your arms to just deepen the already created stretch that you've generated. Okay, so we're just gonna hold here, a couple breaths, and simply switch sides. Oh, that one's one of my favorites. Again, keep that foot above your knee joint there. We're gonna hinge at the hips, slowly lean forward, reach our hands to grab our feet if we can, and just deepen the stretch by bringing your forehead down to your leg if you can. All right, next we are going to move into some splits. Now, the yoga blocks really come in handy if you haven't really worked on your splits before, okay? So I like to warm up into my splits, but we're gonna keep our yoga blocks on each side where our arms and our joints are stacked. So you don't want them forward like this, you don't want them back like that. Make sure your arms are nice and straight, so wrists are in line with your elbows, or in line with your shoulder joints, okay? So I'm gonna bring my right leg forward first and foremost. Actually, let's go to the edge of the yoga block, of the yoga mat here. You guys should be able to see me, because we're gonna be sliding. So it's hard to slide on a yoga mat, obviously. So I would make sure that you're on a floor. I would make sure you're on hardwood floor if you can, and wearing some socks, or you can get some sliders if needed, so that way we can slide our heel. Okay, so I'm just gonna come forward like this, kind of warm up into it, lean back again, and we're going to slide our heel forward and just go as far as you can. And I just hold it for just a couple of seconds, slide back based off of your comfort. And you can lean back a little bit just to kind of shake it out a bit, and then work up to it, and we're gonna go again. This is as far as I can go. Typically I'll have maybe the yoga blocks down like this, a little bit more challenging, and I'm slowly working up to not having any yoga blocks. We're gonna come back, just kind of stretch it out a little bit, or shake it out if you will. We're gonna do it one more time, okay? So 3 times here on each side. We're going to slide, and try to deepen it each time if you can. All right, slide back. And now we are going to switch sides, okay? So again, we're just kind of really working up to it, not just jumping into it. And I'm gonna bring the yoga blocks up for my first rep here. Maybe a little more forward, okay. Left heel off of the yoga mat and slide forward. Try to keep your hips facing forward too. Okay, I'm gonna slide back. Kind of shake it out a little bit if you can. Okay. On to the next one. Slide forward. Try to deepen it if you can. Sink into it if you can. Again, don't force it. This takes a long time. I've been doing this for 8 months now, and I can't even fully do the splits yet. That's okay, we're getting there. It's a lot better than what it was. It just takes time, and you don't want to force it. Okay, last one here. Slide our heel forward. Okay, now we're going to sit back. Bring our heel up. Okay, that's it for the yoga blocks right now. Okay, one final stretch before we move on to some upper body. we're going to do the couch stretch. So for the couch stretch, it's such a great way to just work out those hip flexors, which can get really tight, especially for a lot of people who have a desk job. So for the couch stretch, obviously you want to try to have a couch. You can do it against a wall if you want as well too. So I have the foam roller here that's going to help me for support. So I'm going to have one foot forward. So I'm going to bring my back foot, my left side, all the way down to the ground here. Now my heel is touching my butt, okay? That's what we want. We don't want it to be like this, okay? We want our knee completely touching the back of the couch, and our heel should be touching our butt. So a lot of people really struggle to move up from here, and that's okay. If you're stuck right here, be stuck right here. Don't force it, okay? But if it feels comfortable, you may find that having a foam roller is helpful for support, so that way you can have one hand on it, the other hand on your right thigh here. You can slowly sit upright if you are able to. Like I said, having the foam roller is very helpful. So we want to try to be as upright as possible, and you should feel a major stretch in that thigh on my left side here, okay? So work within your active range, don't force it, make sure there's no pain and it doesn't feel too uncomfortable. Eventually, you can get rid of the foam roller and just sit even more upright, okay? Holding it here for 2 more breaths. Okay, that's it. So I'm gonna bring the foam roller down, slowly lean back down, and then I'm going to stand up and switch sides. Before I do, we're just gonna kind of shake that left leg out, and now we kind of know, okay, this is where my left leg is gonna be planted. We're gonna bring our right leg up, foot all the way down, and make sure when you come down, my back knee is hitting the couch, okay? As that hits the couch and I slowly come down, you can see that my heel, it's touching my butt back here. This side's definitely not as mobile for me in comparison to my right side. So we're gonna slowly bring ourselves upright, but I'm really gonna use the foam roller for support. And this is probably as upright as I can get. It's not as mobile as the other side where I can be way more upright, and that's okay. We will work up to it. So we're just gonna hold here for a couple breaths. Okay, bring the foam roller down for support and slowly roll out of it. Okay, oh, that feels good. We're gonna shake out our legs, and now we're gonna move on to some upper body mobility. So I like to start on the ground again with the foam roller here. So we're just gonna kind of open up our chest. We're always like caved forward like this, right? Especially for all of us who have desk jobs. So let's just really open things up. So we're gonna come down and have the foam roller around our shoulder blades, okay? And I'm just gonna take my hands on the back of my head and just try to open up. I'm trying not to arch. Yuki, hey, don't bite the camera lens. So I'm trying to make sure that my lower back isn't arching. So it's just my upper back that is arching, okay? So we'll do probably 5 of those. Slowly come back and really just open up your upper body. Okay. Now my favorite pose right now for just opening up my upper body as well as my shoulders is a child's pose, and we're gonna do them with yoga blocks eventually. We'll work up to it. So I have really tight shoulders. For those who haven't been following me long enough, you know that, but this has really helped me just improve my mobility. Like before I could only like bring my shoulders up to right there, and now we're like getting it where it's straight overhead. This pose and doing it every day has helped quite tremendously. So we're going to bring, my hands are together like this, okay? So I'm having my thumbs touch each other, so that way it's completely overhead. And we're gonna really make sure our arms are nice and straight, and we are going to sit back, and the goal here is to eventually get our forehead to touch the ground,
not forcing it, and making sure our arms stay straight. Typically, people want to bend their elbows to get their forehead to touch the ground. We want to make sure our arms stay straight, and we are slowly working our way up to it. So slowly I'm noticing that my shoulders are starting to relax, keeping my arms nice and straight. Really have to actively focus on that. And then boom, there we go. My forehead is officially touching the ground, and I'm just always making sure that my arms aren't bending, because they tend to want to. So we're just gonna keep it like that, where my forehead's touching the ground for a good 5 breaths here. And that starts to feel a lot easier, where I can tell that, hey, I have more range available now that I've been doing this for a little bit. So we're going to elevate our hands on the yoga blocks. Okay. So we're going to do that again. Same concept here, keeping our hands nice and close together, keeping our elbows nice and straight, and slowly leaning back with the intention of getting our forehead to touch the ground. Now, don't force it. I still haven't consistently been able to get my forehead to touch the ground in this position. That's where the mobility is still lacking, but hey, it'll get there. Now, the goal with this is to make sure that your back isn't arching. You want to keep your core nice and active, okay? And that's all the range that I'm going to get. So we're very close to it hitting the ground, but not quite, but that's okay. So one final progression here. So we're going to bring our yoga blocks up. One more with its height. And we're going to do the same thing, but it's going to be more of a dynamic stretch to increase our range. So we are going to come forward, keeping our core nice and tight, trying to bring our chest now towards the ground. So in a relaxed position, we're going to arch our back, and you can see that gets my chest closer to the ground. Now we are going to squeeze our glutes and engage our core, and that makes us more straight, where our entire torso is parallel to the ground. We're going to do that again. Completely relax, arch your back, let your belly fall, and really try to get that chest close to the ground. And then now we're going to squeeze our glutes, tighten our core, while trying to keep our chest close to the ground as best as you can. And we're going to do that one more time. Relax, arch your back, belly comes down towards the ground, nice and relaxed. Squeeze the glutes, squeeze the core, and engage the core. And then let's just hold it here for 3 seconds. 1, 2, 3, and relax. And that's all I do for my stretches for my upper body. There are many other stretches that you can do, but for my area of focus, shoulders and mobility there is lacking quite a bit. And I have found that just keeping it simple and not overdoing it with multiple stretches has helped me. But of course, everybody is so different. Your needs are going to be different than mine. This mobility routine that I've shared with you all today is just what works well for me. It's something that I do quite frequently. Like I said, 2 to 3 times a week. The upper body stuff that I just showed you, I do every single day, and it has helped quite tremendously. So make sure that you speak to your healthcare professional or your physiotherapist or whoever it is that is helping you with your mobility routine to make sure that you are doing exercises and movements in here that is best suited for your needs. But I hope that this was helpful.